obviously, first few games you haven't played as much, but you get the start tonight. Kind of what was the approach tonight with the extra minutes and just trying to fill in, and do what you can for Norm while he's out?
Yeah, I mean, just come with that energy that the second unit has been playing with the whole time, and just give that to the starting lineup was my mindset going into it. So just play hard.
Kind of hearing again the talk of this off season and the training camp was obviously that fast pace and on display again tonight. How satisfied are you to see the team playing like this, even though it's only a 4-game sample size?
I mean, it's really fun. We just gotta keep doing it. Don't get bored doing it. Know why we're playing good and keep focusing on that. So it's really fun.
Isn't it an adjustment when you play all off-season with Summer League or with your national team and you're on the ball so much, then now you kind of come in, you're the guy on the offensive glass, you're the guy cutting up. How much of an adjustment is that?
Yeah, it was an adjustment at first, going to Eurobasket and then adjusting back, kind of, I guess you could say. But, I mean, I'm still trying to do the same things when I get my opportunity, when I get the ball. And this offense that we have now is we trust everybody to make a play, and I love that. So that means I have the opportunity when I get the ball to make a play.
Andrew, just another total team win in a high-scoring offensive game. Just what has stood out for you most of what your offense has been able to do here early in the season?
And I mean, putting up the buckets. We're playing fast. We're playing together. Putting the ball in the hoop. But the most important thing is that we're doing it together. Everyone's in sync on both sides of the floor. So I think that's a special thing to start the year.
What do you think has led to that?
I mean, we have great coaches. We have a lot of guys on this team. We're very deep. A lot of guys can do a lot of different special things and come in and give you, what you need in the basketball game. And, we had a hell of a training camp to, build that foundation.
For you personally, what allowed you to get into rhythm tonight?
I mean, just playing within the flow of the game. I feel like my teammates helped a lot, just getting me, the ball, where I'm in position to use my strengths.
Heading on a tough West Coast trip, just what would you like to see your team carry over into this West Coast trip that you've seen over these last 3 games?
Keep that same momentum, keep that same pace, and keep doing what we're doing.
Spo said when talking about you that it's a matter of time before you get into full rhythm, full comfortability. Do you feel like that is the case?
For sure. I feel like every game is just going to get better and better. I feel like today was a step in the right direction, and I'm just going to keep going.
And can you talk about a little bit of the role? Because obviously with Norm out, you get up there an offensive opportunity, but when he comes back and even Tyler, what does the role look like for you?
I feel like it's the same. I'm not one to force shots. I play within the flow of the offense, play within the flow of the game, and do whatever I can to help the team win. We got Tyler, Tyler's a bucket, all-star. You got Norm that's, had a hell of a season last year, should have been all-star last year, but he's heading towards it this year. We got Bam, Bam, another all-star, so, we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of special things. So, I'm in there to do what I can and, whatever I can to help the team win.
Obviously, another performance where the offense is coming alive, and even at some point during that third quarter, you guys built up the lead. They kind of dwindled it down to about three points, and then you guys kind of reemerge after that. Just what did you like again from the overall performance tonight?
The resilience. When you see it getting sideways, and we go in the huddle and we talk about it, and it actually translates to us affecting the game on the court and really going out there and building that lead up again.
Ben, we've seen you run so many pick and rolls and handoffs over the years. When Spo first brought this to you that he was going to revamp the offense, was there any hesitancy on your part, and has there been an adjustment period over the past few weeks?
Nah. The last 2 years have been a struggle for us trying to figure out how we can get this offense going. So I was open to a new offense at that point. But that's the great part of being versatile, being able to fit any offensive scheme and being able to impact it and being able to be effective.
Bam, when you look at some of these scoring totals, because you've been here for a while, and you look at the scoreboard and see these numbers, I don't want to say mind-blowing, but is it sort of close to that, the Miami Heat and these numbers?
What you mean by that? But I've been here for a long time.
I'm just saying you're an older soul here, been here
That's
for a while.
Crazy. I mean, the game's evolving. So being able to evolve with the game, understanding, everybody's trying to score more points, everybody's trying to play fast, and to be a part of a team, with this much pace and this much speed when we get that ball in transition. This is probably my first year where we've been, emphasizing playing this fast. And we're playing the right way. And, that's what I love about it. We're sharing the game, and everybody feels involved.
You talked over the last few games about Spo not calling out a play. You had that baseline drive late in the game where you pointed at the Heat bench. Just who called that play?
Nah, that was Norm talking to me. Him and Caron Butler. So that was that moment. And obviously, like I said, man, we're enjoying how we're playing. To have those type of moments, man, you cherish those because from my standpoint, remember how we was in the mud all last year trying to figure out how to win, and to have these type of games where you're putting up 140, it's very fun for a lot of us.
In Norm's absence, obviously there's a lot of contributions, but I'm curious what you thought of Wiggs' performance here, and especially throughout this season, because even Spo said it's a matter of time before he gets into full rhythm.
Yeah, Wiggs the quiet one. He's the quiet one in the starting lineup, but he does the little things that impact winning. Last two games and in Memphis, his offensive rebounding has been something that has popped out to me because, that's his way of getting involved. That's his way of getting his fingerprints on the game, and you love to see a guy like that who's the quiet one doing all, the dirty work every once in a while.
Davion hasn't scored the most points on the team, but just how important is his paint touches, his playmaking, just to helping this offense go?
I mean, I feel like Davion can be the one on our team that can average double-digit assists. He gets in the paint, he's making the right reads, he knows when to be aggressive when he has an advantage, and you need somebody like that. And then obviously on the other side of the ball, he's committed to giving people off nights.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
Thanks, Ben. That's a wrap. We're good, Vic. Safe travels home, guys.
Jaime, another game just showing off, kind of the improvements that you made in the offseason. Can you kind of talk about specifically what you liked from yourself tonight?
I just like my ability to get downhill, attack, and get into paint and just create. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways. I was happy that I knocked down a couple threes, and I think most importantly that I went 8 for 8 for the line. I think that was my biggest joy, 8 for 8.
I know we talked last game about everything kind of simplifying for you, but more broadly, looking at what the offensive changes Spo has made in the entire system, how quickly did you take to this in training camp, and was there any adjustment period for you over the past few weeks?
I think I took to it pretty well. I know the rest of the team, I think, feels the same way. Really just move the ball. That's really what it is. Get the ball from one side to the other, create open space for guys to drive. We got a lot of guys who can really attack off the dribble. So we just got to give them space, and that movement of the ball really allows them to do that.
I mean, you had one of those dunk contest type dunks in the first quarter there. Took a pretty hard fall. First question, what did you see on that dunk, and what does it mean that you kind of got that athleticism back early? In the second part, how you feeling?
I was feeling pretty good. Came down. I had been in that situation before, so I feel like I've trained my body on how to fall. So it wasn't that bad. I'm all good. But yeah, I mean, I'm healthy, so that's I think the most important thing. Got to keep being healthy.
Where's your confidence at now? Through 4 games, you're shooting over 70% from the field. It feels like you can't miss. So how's that snowballing through now 4 games?
You just get easy shots. You get easy shots at the rim. Your shooting percentage is going to go up. Shoot open shots. We're pros, so we should be able to make open shots. You just keep the game simple, and the game will reward you.
Yeah, you in the first question you mentioned the joy of getting to the line 8 times and making those. Is that sort of an emphasis that you had going into the offseason and eventually into this season? And is that going to be an emphasis moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's always been an emphasis in my game, getting to the line. It's something that I've done my entire career, and that's all just a product of getting downhill and attacking the basket. Thank you.
Spo, the bench again kind of changed the energy of the game tonight, especially in that first half. What did you like about their minutes tonight, and what is it about the style of play that maybe suits that group?
Well, they've really changed the energy. That's what we've talked about for a long time is, the second unit, you want to exactly do that. There's a flow of the game, and when you come in, that ideally there's a change in everything, change in the feel of it, change of the energy, change of the physicality. And that's what they did. I mean, defensively it was great, and then they can play fast. They play well off each other. I think their confidence is growing. Jaime was terrific tonight, and that's an understatement. Plus 43 really is remarkable. But he's playing downhill. He's making some really nice reads. Also, when he collapses the defense. So we just want them to continue to gain confidence, and not put a limit on it.
Obviously, with Norman out, and a lot of guys made contributions, especially Wiggins. Can you just kind of talk about what you liked from him tonight, and even throughout the whole season, but especially tonight?
Yeah, his energy was good as well. I think that offensive rebound he had at the end of the first half is indicative of him just wanting to put his fingerprints on the action. He's at his best when he's inserting himself. It doesn't have to necessarily be play calls, but it can be defensive plays, blocks, multiple efforts, get out in transition. He's a handful when he gets ahead of steam. It can be random post-ups, spot-ups, playing off of others, or when the ball comes to him, just being really assertive. And, he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, getting in a better rhythm. We all know he wants to really play well for the group. I love where his heart is, so it's just a matter of time.
Bam got going tonight, but more broadly, it probably wouldn't be easy to install an offense like this if you didn't have a little help from him in terms of buy-in. So I'm curious as to what role he's played over the last few weeks in terms.
Yeah, I mean, forget about the offense. It's just his overall leadership. You could look at every time there's a break in the action, he's bringing everybody together. That's leadership. That's connection. That's somebody who really wants to help this group get better and ultimately win. He understands the responsibility. He's really growing into it organically. It's really a beauty to watch. Guys turn to him now. It's his 9th year, and it goes by fast, but they see him as a seasoned veteran. I've said it before, but a lot of the young guys have seen him make an impact in all these games in June. So he has deep respect of the locker room, and he's doing it in a way where he's not like up above them telling him what to do. He's right there with them in the trenches.
Can you just give us an update on Norm? We found out about it after we talked to you pregame. What happened? And groins can be kind of tricky. So where?
Yeah, so we'll just have to see. But it happened in shoot around. He says he feels okay, but we are, because of where it is, we'll exercise the appropriate amount of caution. But we'll see how he feels.
And then Pelle, sort of the universal donor. He could be the 10th man.
Yeah.
Boom, he could start. His contribution tonight, did you see that coming? Is that something that you feel that comfortable with, that you can go from 5 minutes a game to 30 and do that?
Yeah, he's the one that brought the team in, right now. And it really is a credit to his preparation, staying ready, and being that plug-and-play guy, where you just earn that trust. It was unfortunate that he missed a little bit of time, because he had such a great offseason. But I reminded him all the time, all that work didn't go away. It's just a matter of getting healthy, get back in rhythm. That takes a little bit of time. And the rotation was already set. But I even mentioned in front of the team, I'm like, Pelle will find a way. You know, it doesn't have to happen now or whenever, but he'll find a way. He's a winning player. And, you know, he did that tonight. It's not easy just to step in there and be that productive. But, you know, that's the kind of pro that he is.
With Norm missing the game, obviously you're down another go-to scorer. Tyler obviously out too. Like, what does it say about Jaime, to go back to him, that he's just willing to kind of step up in terms of volume and shot taking?
Yeah, and you know, other than a couple times, I just really felt like it was so much of what he was doing was in the flow of how we're trying to play. You know, and certainly it highlights a lot of his downhill ability. But I'm more encouraged by some of the playmaking, you know, that he's doing on the decisions, a little bit more poise in the pocket, so to say. Because he's putting pressure on the defense, he's collapsing, he's getting another defender there oftentimes, sometimes even a third defender. And the difference this year is keeping them a little bit more honest. And then if you don't, he's a handful just in one-on-one coverage.
Just how big has Davion's playmaking been to start the season? I think he's averaging a little over 8 assists a game right now. But how getting the paint touches and kicking out,
We love it, you know, because he has a great heart that he just wants to set other people up to score. And you need guys like that. You know, he has a great skill for it. He's an aggressive guy. We want him to play downhill as well. But, you know, how do you not love playing with a guy like that wants to get you the ball, wants to make sure that it's delivered on time, on target, and that becomes contagious. You know, everybody's really been moving the ball, trying to share. Nobody's really trying to go out of, you know, their box to try to put up numbers. It's all happening, or the majority of it is happening within the motion, within the flow, and you know, they're starting to see that.
Coach, you ran kind of a small ball lineup throughout the game with, I think it was Simone, Fontecchio, Jović, Jaquez, and I believe as well as, I think,
Bam or Khalil.
Bam or Khalil.
Not that small.
Well, I mean, I feel like in terms of not small, but maybe 5 out, 4 out, you were playing a lot and not using as many ball screens. How does it feel having that motion and be able to just keep defenses honest, knowing that you have 5 guys who are going to be able to shoot threes?
It's more about, I just like seeing guys play with energy, playing with, you know, that desire to share. And there has to be a maturity and a patience, that knowing that when it's your time to attack or your time to cut or your time to move the ball. And the guys have been really good about that so far. Thanks, Bob. All right, thank you.